Have you ever noticed that some people possess an uncanny ability to disappear even when they are sitting right in front of you? They are the friends who never have needs, the partners who never complain, and the colleagues who solve problems without ever asking for credit. To the outside world, they are the definition of low maintenance, easygoing, independent, and mature. But if you look closer, you will see that their silence isn't a personality trait. It is a survival mechanism. They aren't quiet because they have nothing to say. They are quiet because a long time ago, they learned that their needs took up too much space. Today, we are going to walk into the inner world of the invisible child to understand the high cost of being the good one. I noticed you apologized 3 times since you walked in the door, Rachel. Once for being 2 minutes late, once for your wet umbrella, and once for, I think, simply existing in the room. What is happening?
Did I? I didn't even realize. I don't want to be a bother. I know you've had a long week, and I feel bad taking up your Sunday afternoon. We don't have to talk about the heavy stuff. We can just watch a movie. I'm fine, really.
You are doing it again. You are shrinking. You are making yourself small so that I don't have to expend energy on you. But Rachel, I invited you here because I want to see you, not the fine version of you. Why does the idea of taking up space feel so dangerous to you?
Dangerous? That's a strong word. It's not dangerous. It's just inefficient. I've always been the easy one. You know that. My parents always bragged about it. Rachel is so good. She plays by herself for hours. Or, we never have to worry about Rachel. I wear that like a badge of honor. I don't need people to fuss over me.
The easy child. It sounds like a compliment, doesn't it? But in my experience, when a child is described as low maintenance, it usually means the child realized very early on that there was no maintenance available. It's not that you didn't have needs, Rachel. It's that you learned your needs were an inconvenience to the people who were supposed to care for them.
That's harsh. My parents weren't bad people, Eileen. They didn't hit me. They fed me. They sent me to good schools. They had a lot going on. My brother was sick a lot, you know that. And Dad was always working to pay the bills. And Mom was just exhausted trying to keep everything together. If I had thrown tantrums or cried about a scraped knee, I would have been the straw that broke the camel's back. I couldn't be that straw.
So you became the container instead. This is the core of the invisible child's psychology. It is not necessarily born from malice. It is often born from a child's profound, tragic empathy. You saw their fragility. You saw that your parents were operating at capacity. And out of love, a desperate survivalist love, you decided to delete your own needs to preserve the family's stability. But Rachel, you are 30 years old now. The crisis is over. Why are you still holding your breath?
Because I don't know how to exhale. It feels selfish. If I start asking for things, or if I say, I'm hurt, or I'm lonely, I feel like I'm betraying that contract. The unspoken contract that says, I will require nothing, and in exchange, you will not leave me. It's pathetic, isn't it? I'm a grown woman terrified that if I ask for a different table at a restaurant, the waiter will hate me.
It is not pathetic. It is a trauma response. You are describing hyper-independence. You view relying on others as a weakness, or worse, a threat. But let's look deeper. When you were a child and you came home from school with a drawing or a story or a bruise, what happened?
I don't remember much. I remember coming home. The house was usually quiet or chaotic with my brother. I'd go to my room. I'd do my homework. If I got an A, Mom would say, "That's nice, honey," without looking up from the bills. If I was sad, I learned to cry in the shower so nobody would hear. It wasn't that they pushed me away. It's just that I was like furniture. I was there, reliable, sturdy, but ultimately in the background. I felt like a ghost in my own house.
That is the specific pain of emotional neglect. It is different from abuse. Abuse is an action. It's something that happens to you. Neglect is an absence. It's what failed to happen. It's the validation that wasn't there. The comfort that wasn't offered. The questions about your inner world that were never asked. And because nothing bad happened, no hitting, no yelling, you grew up thinking you had no right to complain. You internalized the idea that your internal world is simply not interesting or important to anyone.
Exactly. That's it. I feel boring. I feel like if I start talking about my feelings, people will just glaze over. So I become the good listener. I attract friends who talk for hours about their drama, and I listen, and I solve their problems. And then I go home and stare at the ceiling and feel this hollow ache in my chest. Like I'm starving, but I don't know what for.
You are starving for mirroring, Rachel. When we are children, we learn who we are by seeing ourselves reflected in our parents' eyes. When we are excited, they smile. When we are sad, they look concerned. That reflection tells us, I exist, I matter, my feelings are real. You didn't get that mirror. You looked out and you saw parents looking at work, or your brother, or their own pain. You looked into the mirror and saw nothing. So now, as an adult, you surround yourself with people who use you as a mirror for themselves, but never turn the glass back to you. You are recreating your childhood environment because it feels familiar.
I'm so tired of it, Eileen. I'm so tired of being the strong one. I'm tired of being the therapist friend. But I don't know how to stop. If I stop being useful, what value do I have? If I'm not fixing things or being the low-maintenance girl, why would anyone want me around? I feel like I have to earn my space on this earth by being as small and helpful as possible.
This is the transactional worth trap. You believe love is a salary you earn through self-sacrifice rather than a gift you receive simply for existing. You think you are loved for what you do or what you don't do, not for who you are. But let's analyze this fear. You are afraid that if you show your true self, the needy, messy, demanding parts, you will be rejected. But what is the alternative? To be accepted for a mask? To be loved for a performance? That isn't love, Rachel. That is just being a successful employee in your own life.
But what if the real me is too much? That's the deepest fear. What if I open the floodgates and I'm just a black hole of neediness because I've been starving for 30 years?
That is a valid fear. When you first stop starving yourself, you will want to devour everything. The pendulum might swing. You might feel angry. You might feel immense grief for the little girl who waited by the door for a hug that never came. That grief is necessary. You have to mourn the childhood you didn't have. You have to mourn the parents you deserved but didn't get. But Rachel, look at you now. You have built a life. You are capable. You are empathetic. The very things that wound you are also the source of your unique depth.
My depth? How is being invisible a strength?
Because you were forced to be an observer. You developed a profound sensitivity to the emotional states of others. You read rooms better than anyone I know. You sense when someone is hurting before they even speak. You have a richness in your inner world because you had to build a sanctuary inside yourself when the outside world offered none. This isn't about fixing a defect. It's about honoring a survival strategy that worked. It kept you safe. It got you here. But now you can thank that strategy and say, I don't need you anymore. I am safe enough to be seen.
Safe enough to be seen. It sounds terrifying. Where do I even start? I can't just walk into my parents' house and demand they change. They are old now. They won't understand.
No, they won't. And that is the hardest pill to swallow. We often wait for the people who broke us to fix us. But they can't. They don't have the tools. If they couldn't see you then, they probably can't see you now. The healing doesn't come from them finally understanding you. It comes from you finally witnessing yourself. You have to become the parent to that little girl inside you that your actual parents couldn't be. When you feel that urge to minimize yourself, to say, I'm fine, I want you to pause. I want you to interrupt the pattern.
Interrupted how?
By doing the terrifying thing. By saying, actually, I'm not fine. I had a terrible day. By asking for the window seat. By telling me, Eileen, I don't want to watch a movie. I want to cry and have you hold my hand. You practice taking up space in safe increments. You test the hypothesis that you're only lovable when you are invisible. And I promise you, Rachel, when you do that with the right people, people who are capable of intimacy, not just users, you will find that you don't get rejected. You get closer. Real intimacy requires friction. It requires two people bumping into each other's needs.
I guess I never thought about friction as a good thing. I always thought friction meant fire, and fire meant destruction. But maybe friction just means contact.
Precisely. Friction is proof of life. Silence is safe, but it is the safety of a tomb. You have lived in that tomb long enough. You mentioned earlier that you felt like a ghost. Do you know what ghosts are, psychologically speaking? They are unresolved histories haunting the present. You are haunting your own life because you haven't fully inhabited it yet.
I want to inhabit it. I really do. I just feel so behind. Everyone else seemed to learn these lessons at age 5. I want this. I don't like that. I'm learning the alphabet of emotions at 30.
And that is okay. There is a Japanese philosophy called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold lacquer. The break is not hidden, it is highlighted. It becomes part of the object's history and beauty. Your history of being unseen has created cracks in your soul, yes. But those cracks are where the light can get in now. Your capacity to understand loneliness makes you a powerful presence for others. If you allow yourself to be present, you're not damaged goods, Rachel. You are a masterpiece of resilience. You raised yourself. Do you realize how strong you have to be to raise yourself in a vacuum?
I never looked at it that way. I always thought I was weak for needing. But maybe I was strong for surviving without.
You were incredibly strong, but you don't have to be strong anymore. You just have to be real. Being seen is not about standing in a spotlight and performing. It is about letting someone see you in the dark. It is about saying, I am here and I am hurting, and letting that be enough.
I am here. I am here. And I think I would like another cup of tea. And I don't want to watch the movie yet. I want to tell you about the time I won the spelling bee in 4th grade. And nobody came. I've never told anyone that.
I would love to hear that. I am listening, Rachel. I am seeing you. Tell me everything. To those of you watching who saw yourself in Rachel, know that your invisibility was never a reflection of your worth. It was a reflection of your environment's inability to focus. You learned to be water, taking the shape of whatever container you were in, disappearing into the cracks to avoid conflict. But you are not water, you are solid. You have form, you have color, and you have weight. The world does not need you to be smaller. The world is desperate for you to take up your allocated space. The healing journey begins the moment you decide to stop apologizing for your existence. You are not a burden. You are a blessing that was simply mishandled. It is time to handle yourself with the care you always deserved.